This Matchday 22 picks edition of the Premier League Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Hall of Fame Bets, the sports betting research platform for parlays, player props and game lines. Download the Hall of Fame Bets app or visit hofbets.com. Use the code SGPN to get 50% off your first month and start making smarter bets today. We're also brought to you by Cut. Cut is a peer-to-peer social betting platform that's US-based and available in 40 states. Head to cut.com, that's KUTT.com. Use the promo code SGPN for a 10% deposit bonus. And we're brought to you by the Sports Gambling Podcast Patreon. The guys just dropped their bonus behind-the-scenes episode of Sean winning $200K. Plus, this week's pick and prize is a free $250 Super Bowl square. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Patreon to join today. Welcome, everybody, to the Premier League Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. My name is Mal and Baz, coming to you from Newcastle upon Tyne in the northeast of England. Today is, let's have a look. Oh, it's the 1st of February. New month, everyone. Thursday, February the 1st. We are here to have a look over, frankly, all manner of stuff that's happened since we last recorded on Saturday, and make picks for Matchday 22, which goes from Saturday, Sunday, I think. It's all shoehorned into 2 days, which is good. Joining us from Nottinghamshire is Mr. Barry Penaluna. Barry, how the hell are you?
I'm all right. There is a Monday game this week. It's over 3 days. Man City Brentford is on the Monday, Morgan.
Right, okay, well, I haven't handicapped that, Baz, so we'll have to. Well, you're saying stuff. Do you know what it is? I looked at that, and then, in fact, we normally message each other and say, "Should we do the Monday night game or should we not do the Monday night game?" But I don't know why I thought that was from a leftover week. Well, okay, I'll get to that in a bit. Not a problem. You might have noticed that I started the stream when I said I wasn't going to start the stream. I forgot to play the little 60 seconds to give you a chance to go and have a cup of tea and sit down. Or because I'm still watching the end of Wolves v Man United, because we're sweating generally just Man United not winning as a fan, but as a bettor, we're looking for your Lamina yellow card treble to land. And just as I was reading all that shit at the start, Man U made a break, fouled on the edge of the box, and I was hands in the air, and it was Cunha, I think, not Lamina. So we got 7 minutes left. But I'm behind. I think I'm probably behind you because I'm on the dodgy stick. So yeah, spoilers. Welcome. Only your fools have scored. This is a busy show, Baz. I had some bits and bobs to talk about from stuff that happened last weekend, but I don't think we've got time to talk about them because we've got all manner of stuff to get to. We recorded on Saturday night, and basically I want to talk about the picks because they were okay. We had some winners, so we'll make room for them. Normally, if they're shite, we'll gloss over them. But we've got 4 different competitions and tons of winning picks to review. But anything particularly pressing, Barry, for you to tell us about?
What, non-football related?
Or whatever you like.
Anything? No, not really.
I've got a half decent non-football related story, but I don't think we've got time for it. But we'll do it on Sunday when there's nothing but FA Cup replays to look at.
Oh, I've got pickled onions, Malcolm.
Oh, what about them?
I'm just eating them all the time,
mate. I could easily have gone down that. I've been on the same thing. I'm on the same pickled onion.
I'm looking to the left now, and I've got 4 empty jars on the bench. Wow. That's from like the last week. It's 4 jars.
Are you eating the same kind, or do you like to mix it up?
Just the same ones. It's a funny shape on that one. See that one?
Oh, it looks a little bit like your Winkle. Last time I went to Hutchie's down Brighton Grove, where I'll get me fruit and veg and etc. They've got, I think I've mentioned this before, they've got a little room out the back that's like the middle aisle of Aldi. Like, just for no reason, they've got this room which is all fruit and veg. And then out the back, honestly, it's like they've just pulled the name out of a hat. But they also get like happy price stuff from places. So they sometimes have loads of Marks and Spencer's cakes. The last time I was in, it was pillowcases, if you remember. They just had like 400 pillowcases, all like pillows. But pickled onions, they've had Heinz pickled onions, Baz. 2 jars for £1, the big ones. Oh, but whoa, hang on. What are you celebrating, Baz? Spoiler. Is it a yellow card?
It's a spoiler. It's not the yellow card, Malcolm, so you know what it is.
Wolves going to equalise.
You know what it is.
Where's Frank? Go on. Wolves or Lee Smith, you absolute twat. You spoiled it in the chat. Sarabia's got it bended. Yeah. Yeah. Yes, we got to celebrate that goal 3 times. Because I saw you celebrating it, then Lee Smith spoiled it, and then I got to see it. What a result. That's outstanding.
As Lamina took his shirt off.
Lamina hasn't taken his shirt off. Someone should rip Lamina's shirt off on his behalf. Where's Frank and everybody? I feel sorry for Man United fans, really. Honestly, they should have been 5 or 6 ahead. Wolves weren't in this game at all.
No,
awful. We'll handicap a lot of these games, Baz, because we've got so much to talk about tonight. We'll mention the midweek games and things that happened in them as we go through the games for the weekend coming up. He's onside. He's miles onside. But yeah, we've got 4 different competitions basically to appraise, Barry, since last Saturday night, and plenty of winning picks. So I'll go bit of housekeeping, Baz, to round off the FA Cup stuff from last week. Newport County plus 2.5 goals. What an absolutely great pick that was. That was like finding money in the street. And before I made these notes this afternoon. We're not even talking about before Man United have thrown away a 2-goal lead today. What an absolute embarrassment for them to throw away a 2-goal lead against Newport County. I mean, we've seen them do it in the Champions League every week. It's all right. But for them to get 2-0 up inside like 15 minutes and be cruising, just control the game. There was absolutely no excuse. So that was shite. And in the FA Cup, I also hit an acca, Barry. Took 149 shows. This is our 150th episode, Baz, by the way. Congratulations. I hit an acca, which was Newport, Norwich and Maidstone all to score a goal. However, the fuckers have scored.
Yeah, have I.
Oh, shit. Well done, Lee. Didn't spoil it that time. Callum did. Oh, that's horrible. Newport, Norwich and Maidstone all scored, which hit my 6-1 acca. I did them all to score over half a goal, but they all scored twice, Baz. So if I'd backed the over 1.5, I mean, I worked that out with a 64-1 treble, unfortunately. Quickly dip into AFCON, because I'll be honest, we've read that absolutely beautifully, Barry. We faded the North Africans, if you'll remember. All toast, gone, the lot of them. Tunisia and Algeria didn't make it out the group. Egypt were lucky to make it out the group, didn't make it beyond that. And then Morocco, who were tournament favourites, got bounced by South Africa. So our 10-1 picks, Nigeria, are now the 13-8 favourites, Barry. They're the only team who are odds on to win their quarter-final. They're 7-10 to beat Angola. And then our 100-1 shot Guinea are into 12-1, Baz. They play Congo in the quarter-finals. So that was exactly the thing with these 100-1 shots, that they'll definitely get a run out with them, and you can lay them back. And then we head across to Asia. My pick on South Korea. They were a bit lucky to beat Saudi, equalised last minute, won on penalties. But they're into 11-4, and they are favourites to beat Australia. And then my other 100-1 shot, Jordan, came from behind to beat Iraq 3-2. And are now even money to beat Tajikistan in the quarter-final. So the 10,000-1 double lives on, Barry. Guinea and Jordan alive and kicking into the quarterfinals, and then hit the Premier League this week. I'm a bit disappointed, Baz, because I'm going to finish 6 out of 10 when I was 6 out of 7 at one point. The last 3 I've missed. I missed the 2 tonight, and then the late game last night, the Liverpool game. So yeah, that's gravely disappointing. But profit there, 13.5 units from at 10. My goal scorer hit, which was Ollie Watkins. And I had the perfect Tuesday, Barry. I had 4 out of 5. Now, people might say 4 out of 5 is not perfect. What I lost was Aston Villa to beat Newcastle, which I picked. So Newcastle would beat Aston Villa. So 4 out of 5 with getting Newcastle to lose wrong is the perfect Tuesday. So I think that's all the housekeeping done there, Baz. But yeah, we had some good picks. We were hoping to celebrate a 45-1 card treble for you tonight, and Lamina hasn't gone near anybody so far.
No, it's been disappointing on that front. Yeah, we got the first 2 cards in. It was Polinia and Brentford, who both got booked in the first half of that game as well, came in really easily. I got a nice 10-1 double actually on the 2 of those.
Yeah.
But then rolled it up onto Lamina tonight. So it would have been about another 40-1 shot all in, but it wasn't to be. You're taking 3 yellow cards at 40-1. It's nice to get a run onto the Monday, onto the final game. We had a chance.
It happened in the right order, didn't it, for your sweat to get your first 2 in, and then to be able to literally sit on the edge of your seat all night today. Because it's not like even if a team's 5-0 up or 5-0 down, the possibility of a yellow card remains at all times. Like that never goes away.
Yeah. So other than that,
a few people on it as well. I think in the few people messaged on Twitter and what have you got amongst.
Yeah, I know Lee had got on it, and a couple of others. No, was it Lee? No, it might be someone else. A few people had mentioned it anyway, so a few people did get on it. But yeah, we got to run out of it. But yeah, as you see, he never got close to anyone tonight, unfortunately. I would say you pointed out that we've done well on the African Nations Cup. I would say, to be fair, we's doing a lot of heavy lifting there because it was pretty much all you. I didn't. My African nations record has been pretty poor, so I'll give you the credit where it's due, Malcolm. You've nailed it.
It's a team effort, Baz. It's a team effort. There's no Iron team and all that. Yeah, I mean we picked Cape Verde the other night. The original pick was Cape Verde to win the game at even money. And then you chirped in with the goals angle, which we kind of all fell in love with a little bit. And I don't know how they didn't score more goals. It was a really good game, and they did win at even money, but only won 1-0 with a late penalty. But the AFCON has continued to be great viewing, like absolutely brilliant viewing. It's been a really good tournament for the Portuguese territories for some reason. Cape Verde, Mozambique, Angola, all the old Portuguese enclaves. I don't know what that's got to do with anything. Who's in the chat? Lee, Callum, we've said hello to. James has just pulled in. Good evening, Slick Rick. And Riley was first in. So final whistle has gone, has it? No? Yes, it has. Man United have won. Well, that's all right. Your Prem this week, Baz? Any good, bad, indifferent? How did you go?
Indifferent, really. I had both losers tonight. To be honest, fairly unmemorable. A lot of it I have to go back and see what I took. My goal scorer treble had Brighton let me down, 4-0 Brighton, getting beat from Luton. Nobody seen that coming. I had Bournemouth to score 2 tonight. Got off to a good start with an early goal, but they didn't get a second. Liverpool-Chelsea draw was nowhere near. I'm sure we'll talk about that game in a bit. Man City was hard. Yeah. I took Man City to win by 3. There was a few people took Man City to win both halves. And then Burnley go and get that goal in garbage time and at 94 minutes or whatever. Just to kill everyone's bets. So yeah, not the greatest of weeks for me. I took Sheff United on the double chance. They got off to a good start. And then, that turned around. So yeah, it wasn't a brilliant week for me in the Premier League, I'm afraid.
Okay, well, luckily, Baz, you can get back on the horse immediately because, like I say, there is a full programme there this weekend. Saturday through to Monday, we can start after I've told you first about the SGP Patreon. Sean and Ryan just dropped this month's bonus episode. The story of Sean's 200k DraftKings win, which is a beauty. And the Patreon pick and prize is a free $250 Super Bowl square. Plus access to all the picks, sheets, and exclusive channel on Discord. Head to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Patreon for a little bit of that. And Underdog Fantasy, you've got a great way to play alongside your favourite fantasy players all season long. NFL, NBA, NHL, college basketball and football. Pick higher or lower on your favourite players' fantasy stats. Cash in. You can even get up to 100 times your money with some spicy plays. We're going to throw out some graphics at the weekend. We need to see some underdog stats. We're going to make some picks. So watch along, make your picks. Maybe make a little cash over on Underdog's mobile app or website, underdogfantasy.com. Sign up with a promo code. We've got our own promo code here, so anyone stateside can do us a favour. And it's PLGP, Premier League Gambling Podcast. So the promo code is PLGP. Underdog will double your first deposit up to $100. Underdog Fantasy promo code PLGP. Right, okay. Premier League weekend starts on Saturday lunchtime with Everton taking on Tottenham. Line movement report, Barry. I handicapped these games yesterday. Everton were 17-10, are now out to 19-10, plus 190. The draw was 5-2. It's drifted out a little bit. It's now plus 260. So, 13-5, and Tottenham are into 13-10, where they were 14-9. So plus 130 from plus 155. So a little bit of movement on Tottenham. And I can see why, Barry, because my instinct immediately said Spurs. I looked at that, looked at the prices, and just thought Spurs. And then you just start looking around for things to talk you out of it, and I can't really find any. Everton are terrible. They're really shit. Like, it's annoying that they picked up the points that they did. And you know they're going to be bad for ages. And then in April, they'll win 3 in a row against 3 terrible teams, and they'll get themselves out the muck again. They haven't scored in 3 league games now, and lost to Luton in the FA Cup in amongst all of that. Tottenham had a bit of a mad one against Brentford. The important thing for me here, I think, is that 7 games in a row now, Tottenham have scored 2 or more. Spurs team total here to score over 1.5 goals is plus 110, 11-10. But if they score those 2 goals, I can't see Everton keeping up with them. I don't know why they would. So yesterday, I was buzzing with the price, 14-9 plus 155. I think the books have watched Everton and Tottenham over the last couple of nights, and they're, like I say, they're into 13-10 plus 130. But if they get them if they cash that 110, I think they're going to cash the 130. So I'm happy just to take Tottenham as a plain old money line bet, Baz.
Yeah, so very much the same as me, and we've landed in the same place. I've put, to start with, the positives for Everton. They're unbeaten in 2 league games. They've kept 2 clean sheets in a row, with back-to-back 0-0s in the league. But they have got, on the negative side, let's look at it, they've no win in 5 league games and just 2 goals scored in those games. To run that, seen them drop back into the bottom 3, so the pressure starts to ramp up again. And at home, they're not much better, just 1 win in the last 5. But that's similar for Spurs, mind. Away from home, Spurs have got 1 win in 5 as well. But the Spurs form generally has been good. I think they've dealt well without Son whilst he's over in Asia. Madison's back now, which is a big boost. And I thought the same as you, just a very easy start. Spurs are just a good price with Everton in such poor form. And I've done exactly the same. I looked at the goals. It's actually minus 110 now for Spurs to score 2 or more. Of course,
yeah, that little bit of line would do that.
Minus 110 for them to score 2. And I thought exactly the same as you. Well, if Spurs score 2, I just don't see Everton being able to keep up with that. They've scored 2 goals in the last 5 games. So take the bigger price, take the plus 130. So for me, Spurs to beat Everton at 13-10 also.
Well, Baz, a team ride for exactly the same reasons. Tell you what's weird, I've just turned the old dodgy stick off now to direct more internet into my laptop. And Sky Sports has come on the telly, and it's deadline day. So at the top of the show, we should be talking about all the transfers, and precisely nothing has happened because Sky Sports is eating itself eventually. It's always going to happen. And the Premier League rules are such that either people aren't allowed to spend any money, or they've got no money, or they're scared of spending money. Literally, I was seeing things go around the street. Bayern Munich have signed somebody on loan from Granada. That's 2 different countries for a start. And someone you've never heard of going on loan from 2 different countries. That's the big news. So that's where we've got to on deadline day. Unavoidable. Get the darts on. Callum's absolutely right. You know, what channel's that? 401. There we go. Big old dot. Right. Yes, Callum, well done.
Yeah, I mean, the writing was on the wall, as you say, for the Americans who are listening, probably don't realise transfer deadline day is quite a big day over here in the past, historically. Everyone looks forward to it.
Like, people I think I've taken the day off work before. Like,
yeah, definitely. Just to sit in front and watch the headlines going all day and the rumours, and they'll have reporters at every ground. And this player might be going there, this player. You got up this morning and you knew there was going to be nothing. And as you say, it's all FFP related. Clubs can't spend any money. And Sky must be furious because it's their big day, isn't it? Everybody tunes into Sky Sports News on transfer deadline day. And today, nobody give a shit because you knew nobody was going to sign anything. The most that was going to happen was, I don't know, Bournemouth signed someone.
Burnley just signed someone on loan from
Villa signed someone from Rodgers from Middlesbrough. But nothing of any note. A very, very quiet January transfer. And it'll be interesting because normally at the end they have a ticker as like how much money's been spent in January. I'd love to see what the comparison is to last January where teams like Newcastle and Chelsea were spending.
I mean, if you remember the peak, you'd have them all in their yellow ties and all the birds and the yellow frocks. And then, do you remember like Jim White would turn up in his car and they'd like follow him in like he was Harry Styles. Like, it was absolutely madness. And it's all the bloke standing outside the Everton training ground with someone shoving a vibrator in his ear and all that. I mean, that was great. But yeah, all gone. It's eaten itself. Brian is in the chat. Brian, good evening. How are you? Next up, we go to Brighton and Hove Albion, who take on Crystal Palace. Brighton are 11-80, minus 163. The draw is 3-1. Crystal Palace are 9-2, Barry.
Yeah, so Brighton currently in that place where I just don't know what to make of them anymore. From one week to the next, you just don't know what you're going to get with them. So early in the season, we could at least predict there'd be goals every week. It was both teams to score. It was over 3.5 every single week. And then recently they chucked out those back-to-back 0-0s in the league. They followed that up by a ridiculous 4-0 defeat to Luton the other day. So there's no goal in the last 3 league games now, Brighton, considering they're supposed to be one of the most exciting teams in the league. Absolutely bizarre. The cup games for Brighton recently have been the usual stuff. They've had a 4-2 and a 5-2 against Sheff Utd and Stoke. So I just don't know where you start. I think I said last week the 0-0s were definitely the anomaly. We're not going to see suddenly this defensive Brighton. I did think Brighton would also find some goals, which they didn't. But the over 2.5 was the right play for me in that Luton game. I didn't expect Luton to get all of them, but it was a winning play. I think I've probably got to go back the same way again. And it contradicts the head-to-head form a little bit because the last 5 in a row between these two teams, it is a derby game, allegedly. We look at it and think, how can that be a derby? They're miles apart. But anyway, it is their derby. The last 5 of these have been under 2.5. And 4 of the last 5, Malcolm, have been 1-1. So let's see if you've been brave enough to go there. We are 1-1 of the week. I'm not. I'm going to buck the trend. I'm going against that. I'm going to go over 2.5 goals here at 7-10. A little short one, but I just don't know what else to do with Brighton at the moment. So I'll just take Brighton v Palace to be over 2.5 goals at 7-10.
The Novas League, Baz. What was it this week? 8? 7?
So I told you last night it was 7 of 8. Obviously the Man United game, so 8 out of 10 in the end, yeah.
8 out of 10 have gone overs, yeah. Yeah, I've got some things to say about old Roberto De Zerbi. Is he Roberto or Robert? Roberto, isn't he?
Yeah, Roberto.
Yeah, circus act. He should be stood on the side with a top hat on, like in a long red jacket, like making a bear dance on a hot plate or something like that. Bloke's an idiot. Like, all right, boss, what's the plan? Just go out there and piss about. Are you sure? Yeah, do what you want. We're not bothered. And like, it's negligent what he gets up to. Here's the thing, Baz. He's 5-1, second favourite to be the new Liverpool manager. Fucking hell. Under no circumstances are they going to give him that job. If you've got £50,000 or whatever, go on Betfair, lay him, take you. How much would that? Yeah, 10 grand profit. Send me your grand, keep the 9 grand, have a lovely time with it. It's absolutely ridiculous. It's the stupidest thing I've ever seen. So obviously they were 2-0 down after 4 minutes against Luton. But did you see the makeup of it? So people think that they scored first minute and the fourth minute. Luton scored after 20 seconds, right? By the time they pissed around and celebrated and all that, they then kicked off again and scored after 40 seconds. So it was 2-0 after 4 minutes, but it was even worse because they literally scored 2 goals in 60 seconds. Well, absolutely ridiculous. They've won 5 of 11 at home. The last 2 home games have finished 0-0. The last 2 home games, one was 0-0 and one was 4-2. So what are you going to do with that? Like, where do you land? There. So I don't want anything to do with Brighton. It was impossible. Palace did the only thing they can do, a home win against a bad team, with Elise and Eze scoring. Didn't we pretty much say that last week? That's what they're capable of, and that's what they did. So I can't take either side. So, Baz, I dipped into the props. We did promise, or I've got an omission to use some of these stats sites and props markets. And last week I went under on the Forest Arsenal corners. I smashed the granny out of that. I give you Forest under 3.5, finished on 2. I gave you Arsenal over 6.5, it finished on 10. Or I gave you the Arsenal handicap. Said just pick one of them 3. Forest 2 corners, Arsenal 10 corners. So I've gone back into my stats, Baz. Brighton have had 54 cards in 22 games. 2.45 yellows per game, 6th in the league. Palace have only had 40 in 22, 1.81 yellows per game. So a fully 0.64 yellows. Brighton are worse offenders than Palace on the card market. But for some reason, they're 5 to 6 here with a 1-card head start. It's a 3-way market, so you can lose if it's a tie. But Brighton get more cards than Palace and a 1-card head start. 5 to 6, -120. Brighton on the card handicap, Barry, is going to be my play in that one. You having a bit of that? It's a wry smile on your face.
A little bit different, but I like it. Coming out with some different stuff these days. I tried it with a Newcastle game. We had chances for a late goal in that game. It didn't happen. But I also tried on that Man City game with the shots in Man City Newcastle, and it paid off. So yeah, delving into a few different things. Sometimes there's games where you just have to look for something different because you don't want either side of it. And I think it's a fair place to try and find something different.
Yeah, I'm not looking, like I say, I'm not looking for it kind of on purpose, but I had nothing there. I didn't want Brighton. I didn't want Palace. The odds were all horrible. Therefore, as an alternative, I'll then go into the cards market. Saturday, 3 o'clock. 10 a.m. Eastern Time, Burnley will take on Fulham. Lee, tell us what you think about this in the comments. Burnley 2-1, underdogs at home. The draw is 23 to 10 plus 230. Fulham 11 to 8, favourites plus 137. Burnley 3 wins in 21. You can't take them at 2-1, unfortunately. One of the 3 wins was at Fulham on December the 23rd, where they won 2-0. Fulham have won 1 away game out of 11, so the 11 to 8 doesn't appeal there either. It was really hard to find any patterns in terms of both teams to score, sort of like over 2.5, stuff like that. I did find a pattern, Baz, in the both teams to score market. Now, I don't like this pick, but I'm making it purely on the numbers. So I'm going a little bit off kilter again. I'm letting this as hashtag science, Barry. Got nothing to do with me. Both teams to score no in 6 of Fulham's last 10. Both teams to score no in 5 of the last 8 for Burnley. So I'm going to go both teams to score no. It's 21 to 20 plus 105, Barry.
Yeah, so I've got a pick based on the numbers as well, but definitely very different to yours. As you say, hard to make a case for either. Neither team has a win in the last 5 games. I think Burnley arguably have had the hardest set of fixtures between the two. They have come up against Spurs, Liverpool, City, and Villa in the last 5 games. Though Fulham's last 5 includes the 2 cup games against Liverpool as well, to be fair. I thought there were some decent enough trends to the under 2.5 goals for both teams. That probably helps you. It's the reason why you found that stat there. But I'm not taking any unders at the moment. It's an overs league, Malcolm. We're not having it.
Overs league, Baz.
I'd wrote down here 30 goals in 8 games so far. That was before tonight's games, where we've had another 9. So we've had 39 goals in the 10 games this week. And as you say, only 2 of them went under 2.5. As you've pointed out, there's very recent form for a lot of these fixtures in this weekend slate. The reverse fixtures were played over Christmas for a lot of them. And as you said, Burnley won 2-0. But looking at the stats from that game, Burnley were behind Fulham in the XG, shots on target, possession, corners, everything. Fulham were ahead of them. But like you, I don't feel I can make a case for Fulham away from home in their current form. Corners. I've gone corners. Fulham corners in particular. And the reason is as follows. They average 6 corners per game, Fulham, across the season. And the line here for them to get 6 corners is 6-4 plus 150. So a good plus money price is a starting point. Now, they played Everton just the other day. How many corners did they get against Everton, Malcolm? 15 corners.
Okay, now that's a lot.
They played Newcastle in the Cup, a game where Newcastle were pretty comfortable throughout. They got 10 corners against Newcastle. And in the reverse fixture, where they played Burnley a few weeks ago, they got 8 corners against Burnley as well. So their average is above the 5.5. The last 2 games have absolutely smashed it. 25 corners in the last 2 games. And in the last head-to-head, they hit 8. So there's plenty of stats which tell you the corners bet is a good one here. And it's obviously then a ladder opportunity, isn't it? We love a ladder when it comes to the corners. So start off with Fulham. Over 5.5 corners at 6-4. Over 6.5 corners is 11-4. And I think that's a brilliant price for 7 or more corners. Going from 6-4, jumping to 11-4 on Bet365 for 1 more corner. Seems a massive jump. So the 7 or more is one I really like. 8 or more is 9-2. 9 or more is 8-1. And 10 or more, 14-1. So the pick is Fulham corners over 5.5 at 6-4. But I'll be going up that ladder. 7 or more corners, 8 or more, 9 or more, and 10 or more. Getting all the way up to 14-1 for the 10 or more corners.
150 of these shows, Baz, has turned us into right nerds. Like on show 12, episode 12 of this, I'm going to pick them at 7-1 because the centre half's hair is terrible. That was the level we were throwing shit out early on. And that was sitting here giving corner stats and all that, honestly. It's the ugly face of gambling here. We move on after I'll tell you about Cut, the peer-to-peer social betting app. 40 states in the US. Tons of fun social features on there. Kramer has been cleaning up, getting his bets out on Cut. Low fig and fully customizable odds. You can create your own bets. You'll get cash back every time you bet against your friends. So Cut allows you to list almost any kind of bet, which is great for the Super Bowl coming up. Get your anthem bets in. I love an anthem bet. Get your first kick to be a touchback, all that malarkey. Cut is the peer-to-peer social betting platform. US-based, available in 40 states. Head to cut.com. That's KUTT.com. Use the promo code SGPN for a 10% deposit bonus. And Hall of Fame Bets helping us win bigger by betting smarter this NFL season. With Hall of Fame Bets, the sports betting analytics platform for parlays, player props, and game lines. Research every NFL, NBA, and soccer bet with historical stats and data. Put any parlay idea into Hall of Fame Bets Parlay Optimizer. They'll hit you with things like legs. It's broken down by leg, expected probabilities. Sold players by hit rate, give you which players are hot, all that sort of good stuff. So stop betting in the dark. Join over 30,000 users researching with Hall of Fame Bets to craft more intelligent, data-driven parlays. Download the Hall of Fame Bets app or visit hufbets.com. Use code SGPN to get 50% off your first month. Start researching, start winning with Hall of Fame Bets. Saturday afternoon, we will crack on. 3 o'clock kickoff is a game I will be at. Newcastle United take on Luton Town. Newcastle are 2-5 minus 250. The draw is 7-2 plus 350. Luton are 6-1. Barry.
Yeah, so let's just start by pointing out, Mark, and that's back-to-back away wins for Newcastle.
Yeah, what a team.
When I said we wouldn't keep losing away from home, and you kept you backed Fulham, you backed Villa, and you told me come back on Sunday night when we've been hammered by Fulham and hammered by Villa and all that. So just to point out, I am back, and we did win back-to-back away games. It must be the first time this season, I assume, because we haven't had more than two.
We've only won one, so it's pretty hard to win two in a row.
We've had cup games, haven't we, as well? So one of them was a cup game, to be fair. If we look at the form lines here for each team, in terms of looking at a 5 or 6 game spread, Luton do feel like they should be the value here at 6-1. Even on the road, they're unbeaten in 4. They've won 3 of the last 4 on the road. That does include 2 cup games within the 4. But I'm not in a position to take Luton as an underdog yet. I do feel like Newcastle might have turned the corner. I don't think we were particularly brilliant in either of those 2 games, but we were fairly comfortable in the end and got through them. I thought we played really well in the game before against Man City. Ultimately came away with nothing. But I think the performances have been better. At home, we know we're generally stronger. So I think Newcastle will win. They're a sure price. But I also think Luton will score. I think Newcastle are going to need to score a couple to score. So Luton have scored in 9 consecutive Premier League games now, and against good sides in there, Man City, Arsenal, Liverpool, all conceded at Luton. I'm going to take Newcastle to win, but both teams to score tagged on with it. It's 15-8. So Newcastle will come away with like a 2-1 or a 3-1. I'd take a 3-1 correct score here. I'm not sure what price that is. But the pick for me is Newcastle to win and both teams to score in the game at 15-8.
Newcastle have been much, much better, Baz, and it was nice just to be reminded of what they kind of used to look like. And it's not that long ago, even. It's only sort of October, November time where we're still knocking out great wins at Man United, Man City, PSG, all that sort of stuff. On the eye test, they do look back to somewhere near their best. Isak missing is going to be a big problem. It leaves Newcastle without this recognised centre forward. So I think Anthony Gordon will have to play up top with Almiron and Murphy on the wings. Luton are doing great. Really good to see, actually. They're out of the bottom 3 with a 4-0 win. But I think Newcastle's back 4 are really well designed to deal with Luton's aerial threat. It is Land of the Giants in there. You've got Big Dan Burn, Shea and Botman. And they defended really well lately. They defended really well against Villa. Newcastle have been great at home. And you're right to point out that Man City game. You could look at the red on the stats and say, it's down as a loss. But we were good in that game. And the games around it. And for our Americans here, I know now this is a cultural thing, Barry. The fact that Luton won 4-0 in this country would see it as a positive. So, Luton have won 4-0. They're in good form. They're going to be confident. They're going to be full of beans. It's a letdown spot, Baz, if you're in America. If you go and win 4-0, they're all too excited. You can't win the next week because you were too excited. So it's a letdown spot. I think we're going to boss them, Baz. Newcastle, I'll take your 3-1 because I've got Newcastle on the handicap. Minus 1.5 is 11-10 plus 110, Bazza. Next is the tea time game on Saturday. Sheffield United take on Aston Villa. Sheffield United are 17-4 plus 425. Draw is 16-5 plus 320. And Villa are 3-5 minus 166. Sheffield United, we both took as dogs against Palace this week. And you get in front twice against the out-of-form Crystal Palace and still lose. That's not a good look. I mean, they've got to do better there. They just don't ever look like beating anyone. The 2-2 home draw against West Ham last time is a decent comparison game, although Villa are considerably better than West Ham. And I watched, obviously, Villa quite closely because they were playing Newcastle. But you've been on to Villa recently, Baz. You've kind of sussed them out as being a little bit dodgy. And now they've only got 1 win in 5. There's no real patterns. 3 of the last 4 games for both teams would have cashed both teams to score with over 2.5. So I think Villa can nick it. maybe 2-1, maybe 3-1. But both teams to score in over 2.5 goals is even money, Baz. Like I say, would have hit 3 out of the last 4 for both sides. So I'm happy to take that at evens.
Yeah, I'll take you 3-1 as well in this one. 3 without a win now for Villa, and as you say, just 1 win in 5 in the league. And I think there was always going to be some regression in Villa. As you say, I've been saying it for weeks. I think the position sort of flattered them a little bit. And I do keep saying that's not me getting stuck into Villa, because I've been quite happy to see Villa do okay and be up there pushing the big boys. And I think they'll still finish up, having had a good season wherever they end up this season. But I think they were always going to drop away a little bit. And that is what we've seen. That said, Sheff United aren't doing much themselves. I took them in a double chance against Palace. I took them as an outright dog against Palace. I thought they might get some in. They started well, but they're just so vulnerable at the back. They've conceded 2 or more goals in 5 of the last 6 games. The only time they didn't do that was a 4-0 win against Gillingham in the Cup. So it doesn't really factor into this. Look, the teams who've put a few past them as well. Palace put 3 past them. Brighton put 5 past them. And Luton put 3 past them recently. I just think this is a good spot for Villa to bounce back. And I'm taking a decent price here for Villa to score 3 or more. 7-4 is the pick for me. 1 + 167. So yeah, I'll take a 3-1. Yeah, Villa are going to score at least 3. So Villa to score 3 or more against Sheff United, it's 7-4.
3 or more, 7-4. Okie doke. We have got Johnny Junter has joined us in the chat. Johnny from Toronto, big Blue Jays fan, excellent Twitter follow as well. So good evening, Johnny. How are you? I'll use that to direct you to the MLB Gambling Podcast. We're only about 30 days away, something like that, maybe even less, from pitchers and catchers reporting in the MLB show. We'll be ramping up its content. Really looking forward to a little bit of baseball. So thanks, Johnny. What's Johnny just hit it? 12-1? 120 to 1 or 12-1?
12-1.
Second half parlay in the Man United game. Yeah, we were excited earlier on, thinking Wolves had snatched a draw, Johnny, but Man United, as they have done for 48 years, kicked me in the bollocks in the last second. But yeah, nice to have you here, Johnny. I appreciate your support. Bournemouth against Forest is the first game on Sunday, 2:00 kickoff. What's that? 9 a.m. Eastern time. Bournemouth are 7-10, -142, 3-1 the draw. And Nottingham Forest are 7-2 +350. Barry.
So I looked at this one before tonight's games, and I've wrote down here Bournemouth have shown very little signs of regression. They've got the 2 defeats to Spurs. That's twice tonight. I've used the word regression. Have you seen that? That's good. Good, that.
Double regression.
Yeah, pulled that out twice. That's it. Nothing else in the notes. So if you're on the over 2.5, I'll spoil it for you. Bournemouth, they had the 2 defeats to Spurs and Liverpool, but either side of that, the form's really solid. They'd won 6 of 8 before tonight with the 2 defeats to those 2 sides I've just mentioned. So what we're now 6 wins in 9 following the 1-1 draw tonight. Plenty of goals for them though. In those 6 games that they had won before this evening, their last 6 wins have all saw them score 2 or more goals. And they scored 3 against Forest in the reverse fixture just a few weeks ago when they won 3-2. I really like Bournemouth here. I think Forest have gone a little bit off the boil after their little sort of new manager bounce. Wins against Newcastle and Man United. They've picked up very little since. And I'm going to take Bournemouth to get a win at home at 7-10. So Bournemouth to beat Forest at 7-10 for me, Malcolm.
Yeah, that's just the kind of tempting price in it, Baz.
Just enough.
It's on the skinny side, but yeah, decent parlay piece. I found this really tricky, Baz. Bournemouth had lost 2 in a row. Probably should have beat West Ham tonight. But the defeats were against Liverpool and Tottenham. But they still only got 3 wins in 10 at home. I just didn't like the 3-4, Baz. I thought it was a little bit too short. Forest did okay against Arsenal. Their goal came too late, really. There has been lots of goals in Forest games, 3-5, 3-4 and 5. But but they're not winning enough either, and they're certainly not a big enough price for me to want to take them here. Therefore, Barry, I don't want to use the word analyst, but I am quite a stats-heavy sort of handicapper. You know, I'm into it. So I went to corners market this time, and this wasn't actually because I used Forest as a corners play and it won last time. Again, pure coincidence. Bournemouth averaging under 6 corners per game. Forest actually ranked 19th in the league in corners, 80 in their 22 games. So well under 4 per game. So the total, I crunched the numbers, Baz, and I got to around 9.5. Under 11 corners, Barry, is even money. Fucking hell, it's like license to print the stuff, that. Under 11 corners, even money is going to be my pick for Bournemouth against Nottingham Forest. Next, 2 o'clock, Chelsea taking on Wolves. Chelsea are 3-5, -166. The draw is 3-1. Wolves are 9-2. Still got no idea what Chelsea are playing at ever. I don't know what right, okay, they got humped last night, and probably deservedly. Although they should have had at least 2 penalties. You probably talk about this, Baz, because you seem more agitated than me about it. But the important thing here was that I think it would have been the first goal. Everyone knows that the first goal of a game is incredibly important. And the first Chelsea penalty was at 0-0. So if they get in the lead, then it does completely change the game. After that, they were still absolutely soft to shite. But Liverpool have done that to a lot of teams. They've had Liverpool are saying they were, like, people claiming they were lucky against Newcastle, lucky against Chelsea. They had about 68 shots in the 2 games. Darwizzy had an absolutely mental game last night. So they have won 4 in a row at home, Chelsea, which surprised me because they've only won 5 at home all season. But they're still too short. They're impossible to bet. Wolves' form is all over the place. And even tonight's game is a microcosm of that. Even within one game tonight, they showed great stuff where they can come back, they can score 3 goals. But for large parts of the game, they weren't even in it. So Wolves are just head-scratching as well. So again, Baz, I dived into the numbers, #analyst, and I came up with a really weird one. Chelsea, 7 penalties in 22 games, and should have had 2 last night. So there's at least that, you can add them on if you want. And they have conceded 4. So that's 11 penalties in their 22 games, 50% strike rate. I made these notes before Wolves got a penalty tonight. Wolves have conceded 5 penalties, which is second in the league. They've only won 1. Now make that 2. A penalty in the game is 5-2, Baz, plus 250. There's been a penalty in half the Chelsea games. That in my mind, that makes that an even money shot. So yeah, plus 250. I'm going to take a penalty to be taken. It doesn't have to go in, and it doesn't have to be for Chelsea. Penalty to be awarded in Chelsea Wolves, 5-2 plus 250.
It's funny that, because I looked at that market for a different game, the Man U West Ham game, and I didn't go for it in the end because I didn't like what I saw. Okay. But I did look at the penalty table as to who had the most. It's obviously Liverpool, Chelsea, who have had the most. But yeah, funny that you've delved into that more, because I did look at myself, but although I didn't find anything on this one, I thought Chelsea were poor last night. They were definitely on the wrong end of a few poor decisions, 2 bad penalty decisions, and just about every 50-50. Every time Liverpool went down, free kick, and the other way. It's that thing you said earlier in the season, is when Klopp goes off on one and they write their letters and all of this shite, it's so they know they'll get some decisions later in the season. Paul Tierney is the one who Klopp's ranted and raved about most in the past. He got a 2-match ban for going mad, basically accusing Paul Tierney of being a cheat. Liverpool fans don't want Tierney doing any of the games. And then you get to last night, and Tierney gives nothing to Chelsea all night long. Those 2 pens, the pens, Slick Rick will say they're not. I spoke to a mate of mine who's a Liverpool fan today, and he'll say they're not. Have a look. Just compare the 2 of them to the 2 that Liverpool got against Newcastle. And I know I'm bringing that back up because that's the game that sticks in my mind. But we're told in the Newcastle game, Liverpool fans say, well, there's contact. There's contact, so it's a penalty. Diaz, there was minimal contact on Diaz. Huh?
Carragher was the worst on that. He was tying himself in knots. He could be a contortionist in Roberto De Zerbi's circus, tying himself in knots just to say that they were penalties.
Exactly. Well, Carragher came out and said last night the Conor Gallagher one wasn't a penalty. But for me, the clear as day. He admitted the other one was a penalty. He thought Nkunku was a pen. He thought Conor Gallagher wasn't. And it's just the inconsistency. That's the thing that gets on people's tits. Look at the one Wolves got tonight for Man United. Absolutely.
Yeah, that was horrible.
And again, that's what you look at. You're sort of looking at the comparison. You're seeing these soft ones given over and over again. But then last night, there's two of them in one game, and it was like instant.
The only thing I'd say,
and there's nothing.
Is the consistent? There is an element of consistency because they're not changing any decisions. So last night, the referee didn't give either. We've sat here all year, and as most football fans have said, is kick VAR out the game. So the ref doesn't give a pen. So the VAR doesn't change it. So actually, it wasn't a VAR problem last night. The ref didn't give either pen. So he just stayed on. Tonight, the ref did give the pen. So again, VAR stayed out of it.
I agree with tonight. I agree with tonight more. I think there wasn't enough to overturn it tonight. But I feel there was enough last night because Conor Gallagher's through and he doesn't go down early and he doesn't go down easy. He's taken out. And the one on Nkunku is a solid boot in the ankle. It's garbage. Listen, don't exactly as you say. It probably wouldn't have changed the outcome of the game because Liverpool were utterly dominant last night and Chelsea were garbage. But there was a chance to go 1-0 and there was a chance for them to get back to 3-2 with 15 minutes to go. And that puts a completely different spin on the sort of last 15 minutes of the game. As I say, Liverpool deserved it. Liverpool played well, very well, and Chelsea were rubbish. But it's just frustrating seeing those things every week and just thinking, what is a pen? What isn't a pen? Just garbage.
You could tell that the Penaluna family chat must have been on fire because I could see your brother was on Twitter whinging about it as well. So I could see you and him must have been having a good chutter away. Did you make a pick in this game, Barry? We're talking about Chelsea Wolves.
Oh, I thought we were on the Liverpool game now. Yes, let's go on then.
No, not even close.
Christ, we better get a reel on. I'll just jump to it. I've spent all of my analysis here talking about Liverpool, despite the fact they're not involved in this game. Goals over 2.5. It's hitting 4 of the last 5 for both teams. It's a little bit short, but nothing jumped out at me. I thought before tonight, had Wolves have got a good result against Man United, I might have been a bit tempted, but not enough for me. So the pick is over 2.5 goals, Malcolm. It's 7-10 again. I've got a few short ones tonight.
Short tonight, Baz.
But I put a 7-4 and a 15-8 in there, so you don't
have to explain yourself to me, son. Yeah, as long as one of them's a penalty, I'm quite happy with it. Move on to Manchester United take on West Ham United, also at 2:00 on Sunday. Man United are 7-10, Barry's favourite, minus 142. The draw is 3-1, and West Ham are at 7-2. Baz, we'll hand this back to you.
Yeah, you can guarantee I'm not taking this 7-10 shot though, can't you? New Year's resolution.
Oh, yeah. New Year's resolution, yeah.
I struggled with this one and I left it deliberately as the last game on my card because they were both playing tonight. I wanted to sort of see how it went. To be honest, the benefit of watching those, so I watched the early part of the West Ham game, switched to Man United, and then watched the last part. Juggled between the two. I think the benefit of watching those two hasn't really helped me in any way. Had Man United struggled against Wolves, I wrote this 20 minutes before the end, so they did struggle in the end. But I thought had Man United struggled against Wolves, then West Ham would become an auto pick. But at the time of writing, Man United were doing all right. West Ham aren't in brilliant form at the moment. Struggled to find many trends for goals, corners, cards. Nothing stood out at all on that. So I haven't backed Man United since Christmas. I won't back them here at this price. They might win, but they aren't getting my money at 7-10. So then it's, can I make a case for West Ham? And I think I can.
Ooh.
And I don't want it to just sound like a broken record if Man United are playing, so let's take them to get beat every week. That's not how it'll work. But they've had good wins already this season. They beat Spurs away from home. They beat Arsenal away from home in the league. And they beat Man United in the reverse fixture just a few weeks ago, 2-0 in that one. That's enough for me to think the price here, 16-5 plus 320, is a price worth taking. It is a bit of a hit and hope, genuinely, because nothing jumped out at me for this one. And West Ham are so inconsistent. But at the prices, I'd just rather take West Ham of better than 3-1 rather than Man United at an odds-on price. So the pick for me is West Ham to beat Man United 16-5. I just think the price is tempting.
You can have 7-2, Baz, because they're out to plus 350 tonight, I think, on the back of the two results. I'm completely and utterly on the other side. For a start, I'm fading West Ham, if you remember, all the second half of the season. They're rubbish. They're absolutely rubbish. They were garbage in the first half tonight. They are absolutely overperforming. Like, they're going to sink like a stone. And I need to find different ways of fading them. I got Sheffield United a couple of weeks ago against them to score. Didn't take them tonight. And Manchester United have got their strongest side back. They've got. Sorry?
They're still shite.
Yeah, but they went and scored 4 goals again tonight. They scored 4 goals at the weekend as well against Newport. But they've got Casemiro back. They've got the old Morrison's Butcher's back off his sick leave. He's back along from the fish counter. Rashford's streaky. We know this. He did nothing for months on end. And then he'll score. He scored a good goal tonight, but he'll score 4 more spawny ones in the next 3 games. Man United going to beat them 4-0, Barry. My pick is Man United minus 1.5, which is 13-7 plus 185. So Courtney, Frank, everybody else, all the Man United fans, that one is for you. Barry's shaking his head so much it might
fall. Come back on Saturday to see Malcolm sat here in his Spider-Man pajamas looking for more fun. I'm not having
yes,
that, honestly.
Well, it might be the secret reverse bush, Baz.
When did Man United last win on a handicap? And don't say against Newport, because that doesn't count.
Yeah, wait, I'm not bothered. Baz, West Ham are absolutely cack. I mean, yeah. Between now and the end, I can't wait. I'm looking for. I hadn't seen the fixtures. I wanted West Ham to be its home to Luton or its home to someone like that, just so you can get stuck. I want 3-4 to 1 shots to turn West Ham over. West Ham are going to make us a fortune between now and May, just getting beaten. They can start off here. I'm not buying it, but the tea time game, the television game on Sunday afternoon, game of the week, more than likely. Arsenal take on Liverpool. Arsenal 6-5 plus 120. The draw 13-5 plus 260. Liverpool 21-10 plus 210. Bit like there was a game at the top of the show. Which one was it? Oh, Everton Tottenham. And we said your immediate instinct is Tottenham. I looked at this and my immediate instinct was Liverpool. And again, I couldn't find anything that talked me out of it. We saw the FA Cup game at the start of the month. Very, very similar. Both teams went pretty much full tilt. Liverpool just outgunned them. And Liverpool at the minute are just so full of goals. They're in better form. I think the only place on the pitch where Arsenal a little bit stronger might be central midfield. Maybe. I like Odegaard and Rice. But Szoboszlai and McAllister still doing all right. But Canati and Van Dijk are in good form. Bradley was great the other night. Don't like giving Liverpool any credit ever. But Bradley looked really good. Trent came off the bench. He was back fit. Robertson was back fit last week. He came off the bench against Norwich in the Cup. Darwin, did he stop at 9 shots or did he get any more off?
11. He had 11.
11 shots.
11 shots on goal, 5 on target, 4 off the post.
I think he became the first player to hit the post 3 times in the first half of the game.
I think he finished 4 in total, didn't he?
Unbelievable. He kicked that penalty really hard. I like that. It was fun. So you also have to factor in, Barry, right? It would be negligent not to factor in the fact that they're lucky as fuck. It has to be. And other people might say, you can't factor that in. Where's the stat? I don't care. It's a fact. Like, the fact that they're dead lucky is a thing. You have to put it in. Liverpool are going to win 21-10 plus 210. I think it's they'll outshoot them. They'll outscore them.
Yeah, I mean, you've worded it slightly different with the word lucky, but I've said you have to factor the same things in. Same as you, first instinct, Liverpool. Arsenal have stopped their slide, back-to-back wins, but Forest and Palace, who aren't particularly going well. Prior to that, they just one win in 5 league games. This is a bigger challenge, though, and Liverpool have got all the momentum. They're unbeaten 11 games. In the league, they've scored 4 goals in each of the last 3 games now. I mean, certainly in the Newcastle and Chelsea games, there could easily have been more as well. Looking at just the recent respective form of the two teams, I think Liverpool as underdogs at 2-1 just looks far too good. And like you say, there's something going on at the moment where every time you watch Liverpool, you just know they're going to get everything. It's that fairy tale everybody wants. Everybody wants to see Klopp win the title in his last season, don't they? We all want to see them celebrating on the last day. The officials certainly do. All of the reporters, everybody wants to. Load of bollocks. But for the last few weeks, it has felt like they are getting the rub of the green. 50-50 decisions all going their way. And let's not take away from the performances because they are playing well. They're playing very well. And as I say, they've got that momentum. So I don't want to get stuck into them. I am a little bit tongue-in-cheek. I think they're a great price here. I think against Arsenal, at 2-1, in the current form of the two teams, I think is a really, really good price. My pick will also be Liverpool to win this one. I like the Liverpool team total as well. To score 2 or more goals, 5-4. If someone wants to play it a little bit safer, if you think Arsenal might play their part, then you could go for the 5-4 plus 125 on Liverpool team total. I mean, the team total could even be a ladder. See, they've scored 4 against Chelsea, 4 against Newcastle, 4 against, I think it was 5 against Bournemouth, wasn't it? Tons of goals. But yeah, the pick for me, just very simple. It's too big. Liverpool to win. 21-10, I think I've got it, plus 210.
Yes, that's right.
Have it.
Slick Rick's taking a leaf out the reverse jinx, the reverse mush. He's got his bet on Arsenal just to ensure a Liverpool win. Well done, Rick. That's the spirit. Monday night, Brentford take on Manchester City. Brentford 13-2, plus 650. The draw is 16-5, plus 320, and Manchester City are minus 222. Just a shade over 2-1 on. Baz, finish us off. I have made a pick while we've been talking bollocks here, so I've got one. In fact, it was dead easy, Baz, but yeah, you can lead us off.
It is easy. I haven't got much on this one. Brentford games are full of goals at the minute. Back-to-back 3-2s. They had 1 win, 1 loss. They also had a 2-2 in the Cup recently, which finished 3-2 in injury extra time. So 3 3-2s in a row, if you look at it that way. 9 of the last 10 games have seen both teams to score, and 13 games now for Brentford without a clean sheet. City, on the other hand, have scored 11 in the last 4 Premier League games, and they've scored 3 or more in 3 of those 4. So good goal scoring form for City coming back into this one. Quite a straightforward one for me, and it's a one I should have took last night. I should have just took City to score 3. Instead, I took them to win by 3, and that late goal stitches me up. City to score 3 here is plus money. Brentford can get as many as they want. I don't care. Man City will score 3 goals against Brentford at 11-8 plus 137.
I'm out on Brentford. I watched them last night. Obviously, they've got the noses in front, and there's quite an unpleasant kind of side to Brentford creeping in. I think it's that twisty manager's starting to annoy us. He's getting on my tit list radar, and when they wasted a lot of time last night. When they got 1-0 up, they were all going down, clutching their face at corners. They were minging, and then they got absolutely over. And they only got back into it because of a moment of madness from Udogie with the back pass that allowed Ivan Toney to score. I think Man City are absolutely going to roast them here. They're in great form, scoring goals for fun. If they do score those 3 goals, I'm not having Brentford. I think Brentford could be in a little bit of bother. I think I tipped them over Christmas to go down. And I think they still could be in a little bit of shit. But City on the handicap is plus money, Baz. Dead straightforward for me. I think City are at least 2 goals better than Brentford. So City minus 1.5 is 15-13 plus 115. And I think, Baz, that has got us to the end of that.
We didn't talk about Brentford. Did you see Neil Maupay last night when he scored the go-ahead goal?
Well, it was all a bit childish, wasn't it?
He did the whole Madison thing, and then obviously afterwards they're all doing it back to him, and there was a little bit of a scuffle, wasn't there? At some point, Madison obviously didn't like it, but yeah, Morby ended up looking a bit silly. Why everyone has to
went too early, and even Morphy admitted that he went too early. Like you can knock that celebration on the 84th minute when you put them 2-0 up. When you're safe, but like you're asking for trouble. No, I looked at that because everyone there was all the social media going, "Oh, look at all this controversy," and I looked at it, and it was just grown men acting like bellends. So
it is.
I quickly got over that.
You didn't play your Man United. Did you not have some your highlight from the Man United Newport game?
I didn't download it, Baz. Well, mention it because I don't know if any of our
Americans. We'll bring it up on the weekend. I'll sort it out.
All right, yeah. There's an excellent clip on BBC Radio Wales from the radio commentary of Newport County versus Manchester United last week. So a lot of people in this country would have heard it because it's done their rounds. But we'll download the audio because it is funny. It's with some listening to live rather than me telling you about it. Barry, exotic stuff. Do you want to lead off or do you want to go second?
Absolutely, I love it. Slick Rickle like this because it's a contrast to all of my Liverpool moaning. So my underdog of the week is Liverpool at 2-1. I don't mind West Ham as an underdog as well. You totally hate that. My scorer of the week, Malcolm, is Darwin Núñez, 9-4.
Hey, Darwizzy, Bosh, Captain Chaos.
Just a big price, isn't it, for a bloke who had 11 shots on goal last night?
What price is he?
9-4, anytime goal scorer.
Yeah,
big price. You've got for someone who's getting as many chances. Every 3 or 4 games, he will knock one of them in. Even if it's an accident, he'll score one eventually. So
I like yours much better than I like mine. Mine's half the price, and yours is twice as likely.
Yeah, so
that is an arse sniffer of the week.
Darwin Núñez, anytime 9-4, first goal scorer or last goal scorer, 13-2 plus 650. So yeah, really like those. My accumulator is a fourfold over 2.5 goals. It's Brighton v Palace, Chelsea v Wolves, Arsenal v Liverpool, and Brentford v City. It's an overs league, Malcolm. All 4 of them to be over 2.5 is 7-1. So that's Brighton, Palace, Chelsea, Wolves, Arsenal, Liverpool, Brentford, City, over 2.5 goals, 7-1. And I'll finish, Malcolm, because we went close this week. I've got you a card treble again. You've got Norgard for Brentford, Palmieri for West Ham, and Jack Robinson for Sheff United. 35-1 treble. Take the doubles. It's for a little bit of an insurance. Take the doubles. You'll get 8 or 9-1 for each of the doubles at least. Norgard, Palmieri, Jack Robinson's your 3 for a card treble this week.
I've no idea how Norgard didn't get sent off last night for Brentford. He got 1 yellow card. Should have had about 4. Right, so my underdog is going to be Liverpool, 21-10. Has to be. My Aka, I nearly won this one. Bloody Pat Foster, where is he walking his dog? He mushed it this morning because I won last week and then I had 2 out of 3 and I just needed West Ham Bournemouth over 2.5 tonight. So I couldn't go back to back. But it's a money line treble, Bass. It's dead simple. Newcastle are going to win against Luton. Aston Villa are going to win against Sheffield United. And Tottenham are going to roll Everton over. So that's just over 4-1. It's plus 415. So moneyline treble on Newcastle Villa, Tottenham. And for my goal scorer, although I do like yours much better than I like mine, Alexander Isak is injured. So Anthony Gordon's going to play up top for Newcastle. He looked really sharp the other night, got in some great positions. Probably should have scored at least 1 and had a couple of other chances. So yeah, he's going to play straight down the middle for Newcastle against Luton Town at the weekend. He is 9-2 first and last, and 7-5 plus 140 to score at any time. But I do think Newcastle could be value for 2 or 3 goals, and he's going to be the centre forward, so it looks like good value. So AG10, Anthony Gordon, 7-5 plus 140. Baz, anything else to tell the people about? We get 34 seconds more, and we'll probably get wrong off Sean and Ryan. They don't like it if you go over 1 hour 10.
I've got stuff I could talk about, but I'm not doing it tonight because we've gone on far too long. Other than people get reviews in Spotify, we need 3 more to get to 100. So if you're on Spotify, make sure you give us a 5-star review. And if you're on Apple, we haven't had a review on there for a while, so get that done. And if you're on YouTube, hit the thumbs up. There we go.
Do you think in the 40, does it count? Does the music count over 110? Because if it does, right, I probably should stop talking. And thanks, everyone. We'll be back probably Sunday, and we will see you down the road. Cheers.